You are tuned in to Scarecrow's News Rant. That one little piece of the show where I bloviate on issues of the day that really bugged me. But before I get into it, got a couple quick announcements to make. Yes, the Alternative Energy Hour, which for the past year has broadcast Mondays at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern U.S. time, concluded its last episode this past Monday. I will be taking a little bit of a break from that production, and there will not be any additional Monday night installments until I think it's 1st of July. Let's measure the 3rd of July. May, June, let's see, July. Nope, it is. It's the 1st of July. My next Monday production will be July 1st, 2013, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And that program will have a somewhat different format. Basically, what you're going to get on the Monday evening program will be what you're watching right now. You're going to watch Scarecrow bloviate on various issues of the day that really bugged him. The Thursday Smart Scarecrow show will continue as it has for almost 6 years now. It's frightening. Let's get into the news, shall we? Yes, I've got a pile of it sitting in front of me here, and I need the pooper scooper to move it aside. So here we go. Lady in this picture here. Let's push the button a second time. That is Christine Lagarde. Christine Lagarde. She was the boss of the IMF, International Monetary Fund. She was formally charged today of abusing her position in a 270 million euro fraud and embezzlement scam. Sounds typical. Maybe she'll get that 6x9 with Bernie Madoff. Who knows? Let's see. World Bank insider blows whistle on corruption and the Federal Reserve. This is interesting. This is published by the New American. A former insider at the World Bank, ex-senior counsel Karen Hoods, that's H-U-D-E-S, H-U-D-E-S, Karen Hoods, says the global financial system is dominated by a small group of corrupt, power-hungry figures centered around the privately owned U.S. Federal Reserve. Gee, you don't think, do you? You think maybe? According to the peer-reviewed paper, which presented the first global investigation of ownership architecture in the international economy, transnational corporations form a giant bow tie structure. Well, you know, bow ties are cool, according to Dr. Who. A large portion of control, meanwhile, flows to a small, tightly knit core of financial institutions. Golly gee, we needed a whistleblower to tell us this. The pillars of the U.S. government, some of them are dysfunctional because of state capture. This is a big story. This is a big cover-up. Was that really news to you? Did that come as a big surprise? Are you pissed off yet? You probably should be. Ceiling suspended. Here's an interesting one. This came from RT. That's Russia Today. Ceiling suspended. U.S. takes on $300 billion in new debt after hitting the $16.7 trillion limit. No problem. they set this limit and they say, oh, we ain't going to borrow any more than this. They get to the limit and they say, I think we need to extend our credit just a little bit. Now, just suppose every one of your credit cards was absolutely maxed out. And the payments were coming due and you couldn't make the payments. If you were the United States federal government, there's no problem. You just order up a new credit card, make the payments on the new credit card. And you send the bill to the taxpayer. Great deal, eh? Don't you wish you had such a deal? Don't you wish you had such a deal, boobla? On another note, in the financing of the United States government, U.S. Treasury Secretary says he has begun tapping Federal Retiree Pension Fund to avoid default. Treasury Secretary Jacob Lew said late Monday he will begin tapping into 2 government employee retirement funds to buy more time before the U.S. Treasury is faced with the prospect of defaulting on the national debt. In a letter to congressional leaders, Lew said he would tap Civil Service Retirement and Disability Fund and a similar fund that covers retired postal workers. The law allows him to remove investments from these funds to clear room for more borrowing until Congress votes to raise the debt limit. Now, a note to all of you, government employees who are, doing your 9 to 5, trying to keep your head down, trying to just keep your job, maybe get that nice pension that you were promised, a little advice. You really think you are immune? You really think there's not a target painted on your back? Guess again. I tell you, there's a lot of news to cover tonight. How am I doing on time? Let's see here. With all the financial woes that started with Wall Street and end with Wall Street, how many big names have you seen put in an orange jumpsuit sharing that 6x9 with Bubba, who thinks they're pretty? How many? Madoff. Small fry. Okay, but, according to Madoff's wife, it's all a plot by de Goyam. Yeah, de Goyam was out to get poor Bernie. That's the only reason. No, Bernie was a sacrificial lamb to take your eye off the ball. No major Wall Street bankers or hedge fund hyenas are sharing that 6x9 with Bubba. But over 7,700 Americans have been arrested for protesting the excesses of Wall Street. 7,700 who stood up, looked them in the eye, and called them the SOBs that they are, have been arrested. U.S. counterterrorism apparatus is used to quell dissent among Americans. Yeah, there's about 7,700 who would say, no question, if you're an American and you stand up dissent, real good chance that the counterterrorism apparatus is going to be used to quell your dissent. I mean, after all, if you ain't towing the party line, Either one of the parties. You know, you can toe the Democrat line, you can toe the Republican line, it don't matter. But as long as you're toeing the party line, you're okay. But if you step outside the box, you'd be looking like a terrorist. How about this one? You know, every once in a while I like to throw one in there that kind of lightens it up a little bit. How about this one? So it's come to this. 7 high school students arrested for throwing water balloons. Water balloons! 7 teenage students in North Carolina were arrested on Thursday and charged with a misdemeanor for throwing water balloons during a school prank. A parent was also arrested during the incident. The 7 boys, all between the ages of 16 and 17, threw balloons filled with tap water as an end-of-year prank at Enloe High School in Raleigh. 6 of the teens were charged with disorderly conduct. The 7th was charged with assault and battery for hitting a school security officer with a balloon. The security officer was pronounced dead on the scene. No, for crying out loud. You got to respect that uniform. Got to respect that uniform. Even if that uniform's 50-50 polyester cotton, you got to respect that uniform. Jeez, PC. Got to respect that uniform. What did Cartman say? You will respect my authority. Oh, man. Yeah, sounds like a South Park episode. Okay. Now let's get down to some hard news. Benghazi. Okay? Benghazi. Department of Justice and the Associated Press. Yeah. And how about the IR freaking S? Okay? But, you know, let's not forget, because these have not yet been resolved either. Fast and Furious? Ring any bells? Fast and Furious? Or is that totally out of the public conscience now? Because, you know, we've got the latest scandals of the day. And, you know, Fast and Furious is kind of on a back burner. And, you know, what about the economy and, you know, the unemployment numbers? I mean, do you really believe that only, you know, 8.5%, 9% are unemployed right now? Do you really buy that? Do you really buy the fact that the economy is back in the green, that things are good, that, you know, you should be happy days are here again? And, you know, what about the lead up to World War III? I mean, do you believe what's going on? Do you believe what Israel is doing over in the Middle East right now? Doing its very best to drag our asses into World War III? Do you believe these things? Okay, you know, I mean, there is so much going on right now that I'm out of breath. Watch this video. See if you see a man who is resisting arrest. Also, keep a real close eye on a hand that appears to go into this man's back pocket. You watch, make up your own damn mind.
Adam Kokesh, an Army veteran, has been arrested for an act of civil disobedience. He was arrested in Philadelphia during a smoke-down prohibition. You can see the police here starting to go in to get Adam.
Bring it in! Everybody get closer! Show some love! Come on, we're gonna make it difficult for the police here!
And here's another angle from the stage area. You can see that they have a hold on the guy with the dark green shirt, but just pay attention to what his hands are doing. It looks as if he's trying to plant something on Adam, possibly a joint. They were both detained, but the man in the green shirt must have been undercover or was playing some kind of role in this whole scheme. From this other angle you can see the same exact thing, and a close-up definitely reveals he's trying to put something in Adam's back pocket or in his pants. And here's another close-up from the other angle. Now this is before Adam and the guy with the green shirt were detained. You can see the guy with the green shirt right there, the bald-headed guy. He's about to pull out a joint. And now when the camera pulls back, you can see he has a cigarette or a marijuana joint in his mouth. And this is where they take him and Adam Kokesh away. And for some reason, the guy with the green shirt was forced in there, and it did not look like he should have been. At this point, Adam is in custody in a federal jail, according to his Facebook page. We can all guess the police and feds want to take him in because of the peaceful gun protest he intends to hold in Washington, D.C. on July 4th.
Okay. So this guy, Adam Kokesh, is still being held incommunicado. Basically, he refuses to be arraigned on charges of resisting arrest. Now, I'm an old geezer and my eyesight's not that good. I've seen the videos from a half a dozen different angles, and I see a man with his hands up attempting to maintain his balance while being thrown off balance by more than one person, and it appears that a fellow was trying to put something in Adam's back pocket. Looks like he was unsuccessful. Luckily, Adam was wearing a sports coat, and he could not get whatever he wanted to get into the pocket in there. That's okay. But, the interesting thing is that the arrest was made. I saw no resistance, but the only charge they could come up with was resisting arrest. What do you think? Do you think maybe this might have been done to throw a cold bucket of water on this little protest that Kokesh had planned for July 4th? You think? You think maybe? Whether you support Kokesh or not, whether you support his armed march on D.C. or not, is irrelevant at this point. What you have just witnessed is government tyranny. Do you understand the term government tyranny? But, as I was saying, before I realized that my audio had gone caca, we're all just a bunch of tinfoil hat-wearing kooks, and we don't know nothing about nothing, right? We're worried about nothing because Obama says, don't even worry about government tyranny. It's just a figment of your imagination, and don't look behind the curtain at the guy who's running all the don't look at any of that stuff. It's all just an illusion, and everything is fine. And you guessed it. That's bullshit. And that was Scarecrow's news rant. For May 23rd, 2013. I threw an awful lot at you in a very short period of time. Hope it got you thinking about those issues.